I'm excited to have this conversation with you today. And it's like two totally different topics, laughter and worms.
Right?
So help us understand how you got into working with worms and then how that led you to laughter.
Perfect. So I'm located in Ontario, Canada, just north of Toronto. And in 2002, our landfill filled up. We weren't paying attention, not we, they. And I'm laughing because otherwise I'd be crying.
Welcome back to the Green Living Now podcast, where we're practicing what I now call the elegant rebellion. It's a rising movement of women who are not letting corporations, processed food systems, and toxic household products decide what happens in our bodies or our homes. In this movement, we reclaim our power with time-honored traditions, clean, sustainable food, non-toxic household products, a connection to nature, and cutting-edge holistic tools, not just to react to illness, but to prevent it and reverse it. I'm Amy Hartshorn, Green Living mentor and speaker, and I've been helping women live cleaner, healthier, and more empowered lives for over 30 years. If you've been looking for a supportive online community, join our Elegant Rebellion Circle. It's our new online gathering place for women who want to take back their power and detox their lives with confidence and clarity. You'll find all the details at greenlivingnow.com/join-circle. Today's episode takes us somewhere unexpected. From composting worms to laughter yoga, my guest, Cathy Nesbitt, turned a garbage crisis into a joyful movement. We'll explore how the smallest creatures and the simplest acts of laughter can transform our homes, our health, our lives, and even the planet. Welcome, Cathy. I'm excited to have this conversation with you today. And it's like two totally different topics, laughter and worms.
Right?
So I think
I
that's going to
know.
be fascinating.
I'm excited, Amy. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So which do you want to start with?
Well, let's start with the worms because that's what brought me to the laughter.
Oh, perfect. Okay, good. So help us understand how you got into working with worms and then how that led you to laughter.
Perfect. So I'm located in Ontario, Canada, just north of Toronto. And in 2002, our landfill filled up. We weren't paying attention, not we, they. And I'm laughing because otherwise I'd be crying because it's a pretty heavy topic. It's a pretty heavy mission that I've put on myself, I guess, however we get these missions.
Right.
So Canada's second largest country in the world, and we couldn't find a place to site a new landfill. And we started to export our garbage to Michigan.
Oh, really?
Oh, sorry. I just feel bad that we were so irresponsible with it. And not we, they, but I had a solution. So this is hopeful. Keep listening, folks. Right. It's all about green living. So I'm an avid gardener and composter, and I was introduced to vermicomposting, composting with worms. And I was thinking about Toronto, 6 million people in the greater Toronto area, half live in condos, townhouses, places without space to do outdoor composting. And this is indoor composting. I mean, it can be done outside as well, of course, not in Canada in the winter or in Texas
Or
in
Vermont,
summer,
yeah.
right? The heat, right? If we're comfortable, the worms are comfortable. They're fair weather ice, the composting worms.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I have a solution for at least the organic matter. And I kind of set forth, I call myself an accidental entrepreneur because I grew up as an employee.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Wow. So you broke out.
I did. I've had a really cool life. I traveled a lot. I did all kinds of cool things, but I really think my time as an entrepreneur since 2002 has been like, it's such a wonderful life when you're leading the way with a solution on purpose. And I wasn't paying attention that people don't like worms. I was just like, no, you need this. You need it. But people don't buy what they need. They buy what they want.
This is true.
And they didn't want what I was vlogging.
So first, let me just roll back a little bit. So
Okay.
you started doing this in your own home,
Of course, yes.
right? And what did you notice?
How quick it is. In the winter, you don't have to schlep outside to the composter. I also have a whack of composters outside, which is fine. It's still working. People think it doesn't work in the winter. It's just going slower, right? I mean, it's still doing something. But it's a challenge if you have a lot of snow. Getting out to your composter can be anyway. So that's what I
Well,
noticed.
and Yeah, I'll also add another piece that's a struggle for us. So the whole attracting of other animals, we have a lot of bear here in Vermont. We've had so many coyotes screaming at night, and we tend to throw our compost over the deck into a bucket. But I feel like maybe I should start doing this worm composting
Mm.
as a way to minimize attracting the wild animals to our land. So anyway, continue.
I thank you for adding that. I love that because Toronto is raccoon capital. They've really moved in. They're so adaptable.
Trash
So I
pandas.
say about wildlife, yes, if you live in the city and you don't want rats or
Oh,
rodents or
yes.
raccoons, indoor composting. Like people are like, oh, what about rodents? It's like, well, if you have rodents in your house, you have a bigger problem.
Yeah. The
And then
worms are not going to necessarily attract them.
they're not going to attract them. No, they're not. Although those rodents would be after the worms, not the food you're putting in.
Oh, really? Like mice would be after the worms?
Would be more after the worms than necessarily the
Oh, interesting.
compost. And
Okay.
same with raccoons and skunks and stuff. But
Okay.
in cottage country or place where there are bears and coyotes and whatnot, right? You don't want to attract those by having a composter outside potentially. So
Right.
doing it inside. So it's a solution for everywhere, which is really beautiful. The worms is the challenge.
Okay. So, how do you set it up? Tell us a little bit about how you've designed these to be the most effective.
Any container will do. Any
Oh,
container. So for people, say in New York with a small living space, New York City, that is, not
right.
just New York State.
Which is where I grew up, actually.
Oh, is it? Right, right. Teeny apartments, not much space. I say wherever you're going to put your composter,
Hmm.
if you have a certain like little nook that you can put it in, you get a container that size.
Okay.
And there are systems as well. So say a Rubbermaid container, you need to
Okay.
have holes in it because it's aerobic process. Aerobic
Okay.
meaning with oxygen. You need browns and greens, just like composting, carbon and nitrogen. The carbon indoor can be like shredded paper, your MasterCard bills after you've paid them. Says your homework, but don't tell the teacher the worms ate your homework.
Right. Exactly. And the holes that you're talking about are at the top, right? So that the worms aren't going to start wiggling out the holes.
Okay, so a couple of tips there. If you're going to
Okay.
put your composter outside in the spring, summer, fall, which it can be outside,
Yeah.
you don't want to have holes in the top. So you would have them around the top part, like around the rim, close to the top.
Okay.
The worms can get out of any holes. They don't have any bones, but
Oh, so they can wiggle up the top or the
they
side of the
absolutely could.
container.
They could. However,
Oh,
they don't have eyes and they're eating about half their weight per day in food scraps.
wow.
So they don't have eyes, no point in going sightseeing. They can't see
Yeah.
and they're eating half their weight. So if they're crawling out, there's something incorrect.
That makes sense, right? Because otherwise it'd be much more desirable to stay there so that they could keep getting fed.
Correct, right? It's warm, it's moist. That's where the food is.
Yeah.
The only reason they would crawl, not the only reason, there's several,
Yeah.
if it's too acidic.
Oh.
A lot of the food, right? Coffee grounds, a lot of the stuff we would put in would be acidic. So you balance out with eggshells, right? You
Oh,
balance the
okay.
pH, right? There's so many things. It's so beautiful. It's just
Mm,
awareness. Like it's a process. So you want to make
right.
sure you have it right. If it's too dry or too wet or too hot, right? If it's too something or not enough something. And there is a learning curve, just like composting. Because it's done in your house, you don't want to attract fruit flies.
Oh, yes, exactly. So how do you
Some
avoid that?
some management is required, right? I say to people, because they go, I don't want to have fruit flies. I say, have you ever? Yes. Okay. If you've had fruit flies and you've never had a worm bin, you know the fruit flies don't come from the worm bin, right? You have them already. Okay. So that's the first thing because I don't want, although it's the perfect environment if they do get established in your worm bin. So how do you prevent it? Any peels that you don't generally wash, bananas, and I would leave out citrus. So bananas,
Oh.
melons, pineapple, you don't wash those first. You just peel the banana, right? The fruit fly eggs are on the outside of your fruit,
Oh.
right? You wash your apple, you wash your pears, and then eat it. You don't wash the other ones. So you can give them a quick rinse.
Okay.
Also, best to let your scraps decompose. So if you had a container to add your scraps into, give it a quick rinse, add your scraps in there, a couple of days, let it start to break down,
Oh.
and then add it into your composter.
So slightly broken down is better than fresh right off the
Yes.
plate. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Interesting. And I'm imagining the size is also determined by how much fruit and vegetables and are there any other things that you're putting in eggshells and coffee grounds, I heard you mention, but are you putting in any like toast ends or, grains or any other types of fruit
Yeah,
and stuff?
yeah, could be. All your fruit and veg, coffee, tea, pasta, rice, cooked pasta and rice, your bread, although for schools, I usually say leave out bread because on
Oh.
pizza day, there would be too many crusts.
Oh, so it'd be
Right, because
overwhelming.
bread is processed, although it's hopefully natural. It does have some ingredients in it.
Right.
If you had a moldy, like again, depending on the type of bread, because rather than saying a blanket statement, if you're getting your bread from the local bakery, probably absolutely. If it's like a brand name that, lasts for weeks and weeks without starting to go moldy,
Yeah, that's a problem.
right? Maybe not.
For your buying organic.
Exactly. And that goes for your fruit and vegetables as well. When I first started 23 years ago, the chemicals were less harsh. They were still harsh, but less harsh. Now
Interesting.
we have glyphosate and different horrible chemicals that get in the fruit. They like
Yeah.
people think they wash off. They really don't.
They don't even peel off a lot of them because they're growing within that fruit and vegetable.
Right. So
Yeah.
these are all things to be aware. And even with water, if people are using tap water, I suggest letting it sit out for a day or two to let the chlorine evaporate. So just
Right.
in an open bucket.
Yeah.
However, caveat, some municipalities, I don't know about in the States or other countries, some municipalities in Canada have added an extra element onto the chlorine, and now it's called chloramine, and
Oh,
it does
yes.
not
Yes, they do
evaporate.
that here too.
It doesn't evaporate. So I can't
Oh,
say a blanket statement about any of these things. Get a filter,
right.
everyone,
Right, right.
and
Well,
get a
so
filter anyway.
yeah, yeah. And so your point being that all of these chemicals, whether it's chlorine or the herbicides and whatnot, are impacting the health of the worms. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yes, they're sentient. They're like frogs. They breathe through their skin.
Oh,
So they're completely affected by their environment.
and so will they just die off if they're getting too many of these chemicals?
Yes, is the
Or
short
just or
answer.
not
They're
function as
adaptable.
well?
They're
Okay.
adaptable. They just won't function as well. They won't be thriving as they could. They
Kind of
really
like
are
humans.
survivors. Like, right? Oh my
Right, it's
God.
almost like instead of being the canaries in the coal mine, they're the worms and the vermiculture,
Yes.
telling us what we're eating may not be the best if we're eating all that
Even
processed stuff.
there's a documentary, because there's so many issues like sewage sludge
Oh
and
my
what do
gosh,
we,
yes.
right? What do we do with all this waste of waste?
Mhm.
So there's a documentary called Royal Flush, and it
Oh,
was
really?
yes,
Okay.
it's a Canadian film, and it was about the sewage sludge. They were spreading it on farmers' fields, which I believe is a common practice.
It is,
But
sadly.
sadly, right? So in this documentary, you understand why that's really a bad thing to do.
Yes.
Because in one farm field, adjacent to where they were putting the sewage sludge, because it has heavy metals, it has all of our pharma, it has,
Exactly.
right? If people were on chemo, like all of these
Yeah.
things are in, I know.
Yeah, because it doesn't get processed out of the waste system.
Chemicals don't. They don't, and the heavy metals remain even when you
Yeah.
compost. They can remain. Very few worms where they've spread the sewage sludge,
Mm.
and healthy, wonderful populations right beside
Oh, how
in
interesting.
fields adjacent. Yeah, we really need to be aware of what we're putting on. I know of what we're
Right, but
putting on the
for some
land.
folks, they may not realize that because I've seen people posting on social media, "Oh, organic is a scam, it's a marketing tool," and all this kind of silly stuff, and I feel like there's so much evidence now that people can look at to see that glyphosate, for example, which is one of the most popular herbicides,
Mm.
it kills people. There's a finally we had that big landmark court case where the school land caretaker who was spraying a lot of glyphosate and he ended up getting cancer. And he actually won his case against, well, what was Monsanto, now Bayer. And so it tells us that there was a preponderance of evidence, clearly, even with all of the industry funded lawyers that defended the company, they still were able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this cancer that this man was experiencing came directly from his experiences. It's time that we wake up. and realize that
Wake
there
up
are
every
better
day.
ways. Yeah. But anyway, back to you and the worms. Okay, so
This is heavy.
I know, right? So we're gonna need the laughter.
Right?
Um,
Yes.
so all right, so you've got this whole worm thing going, and then how did you turn it into a business?
I just set forth, I was like, everyone needs this. I would have a table wherever I could, trade shows, farmers markets, anything, anywhere. I would
Yeah.
speak wherever I could. And people are interested, you know, they're going along table to table, and then they get close and then, you know, oh, what do you have here? Even though I had a worm on my shirt, worm earrings, like worms everywhere, picture of worms.
Oh.
And then I'd say worm composting. They might have not heard that it was indoor, listening. Oh, great. Oh, great idea. Oh, that's really great. And then they say, what do you do with it in the winter? And I go, no, it's indoor year round.
Oh.
Oh, ew. And so I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? And I have a psych degree. So I
Oh, you
realized,
too?
yeah, I'm fascinated by people and
Me
why people do what
too.
they do. Right.
Yes.
And I realized, oh my gosh, people were traumatized maybe as children
Mhm.
after a rainy day, a fishing incident, or a sibling chased them
Yes.
around, something.
Right.
If you were traumatized as a child by a worm, you're not looking to that as an adult as a solution. Okay. So I've kind of had to overcome another level. Like, this is a great idea. And people were like, yeah, great idea. No, not
But
for me.
don't bring it indoors.
There's a line, right? Here's the line. So I started to do school workshops.
Oh, that makes sense. So that was what I was wondering about because it feels like kids would be more receptive. Most.
Yes. Most, right?
Some at
Again, it's a
least. Yeah.
learned fear. Worms, unlike snakes, is a learned fear.
Right.
And people would be like, "Oh, this is great." And then be like, "Oh, Jimmy, get back. It's dirty." When I would bring out the
Oh.
worms, like, "Oh, have a look." And kids would be like, "Oh," and then they'd be like,
Teachers would
"No,
say,
don't touch
"Watch out."
it." Like, "Oh, we're gonna go and have lunch after." So, like, "Can you
Oh,
wash your hands?"
wow.
Like, come on. What? No, just put the sanitizer. Ew, don't do that.
Oh, yikes. Okay.
So many levels. Like, there's so many things,
Mm.
Amy. So
Yes,
much
yes.
learning just in the little
Mhm.
worm. Yeah, so I took on school workshops and I was like, oh, now I just have to wait 20 years for them to have buying power. Be careful what you say and think. I made it.
Right. Oh gosh.
It was beautiful. It's still my favorite thing doing school
Yeah.
workshops. And going in grade 2 is my absolute favorite
Oh, is that
because
right?
they're open
Yeah.
and they're kind of not afraid. And if they live in Toronto, they probably live in an apartment complex. They've likely never seen a worm for sure. They never held one.
Yeah.
And just watching them, like, they're so scared. And then when they hold it, it's like, oh, and then I say, notice how you feel. Feel it wiggling
Oh,
around because I want them to get connected to that worm.
that's beautiful. They transform in
They
that
do. Then they're
experience?
like, wow. And then, oh, so many beautiful stories because when teachers bring worms into the classroom, there's
Mhm.
so many lessons. They can write stories, they can do math, they can
Yeah.
weigh scraps. There's so many ways. And then the kids can kind of watch their banana peel disappear
Yeah.
into soil. Then they can grow a plant for Mother's Day. And,
That's so lovely. So it's really creating the whole circle of life
right?
or life,
And
death,
then
and
waste
rebirth.
management.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then taking something from garbage, which is the smelly part, by the way.
Yes.
Compost take the stink out of garbage.
Mhm.
The garbage isn't a big issue anymore because it's just the plastic and I mean,
Yeah.
not just.
Right. Right.
Okay.
That's a
See,
big
this is so
topic.
heavy. It's so heavy. And I believe that it's a really huge mission because everybody eats, everybody creates food waste,
Yes.
and land is an issue, and garbage and growing food. These are all issues that the worm has a solution for. And I believe, I put on the big worm hat. I'm the head worm. And so it was grieving me when I was transitioning into laughter, which I'll talk about that in a sec,
Sure.
because I was like, it's so needed. This worm part is so needed because in
Mhm.
North America, we've destroyed the soil with our monocropping, corn, wheat, and soy,
Yes.
acres and acres
Yes.
of one thing. That's not how nature intended.
Exactly. Or how nature
Successful,
functions.
right?
Nature is just diverse by its design, as opposed to the way we humans think we've got one up on nature because we've planted all these acres of one particular type of crop.
And we're so smart, right? Our frontal lobe is a disservice to humanity because we've come up with all these concoctions that are like, oh, look, it keeps on growing. Oh, to what
Look at how
extent?
fast it turns green.
Right. Anyway,
Right.
that's another kind of rabbit hole.
Right.
Okay, so 2012,
Okay.
one more person said, ew, worms in the house.
Yeah.
And I finally was listening. I heard it. I felt it. I questioned everything. I was like, I don't know what to do. How do I
Mm,
do this if people are still saying ew and they're
yeah.
not open to the idea? Like, do it or don't do it is not my problem. It is for
Okay.
business, but it's the problem is if you don't even know about it, you're for sure not doing it.
That's right.
Right? You've chosen not to if you know about it. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm very fast. I get an idea. I'm like, okay, come on, let's go. I want to do this.
Yep.
And although 10 years, I was like, okay, I'm still going. I can do this. I have all this energy. And then, and the very next day, I was like, I don't know what to do. Maybe I should just get a job. And then I was like, no, no, this has to work. I would be a horrible employee now. Don't tell me what to do.
I can relate.
The very next day, I was introduced to laughter yoga.
Ooh, okay. How did that happen?
So I wrote a business plan for my worm business. And so they had speakers. 2012, they had a speaker series. The very first speaker was a laughter yoga teacher. And she did a 5-minute intro. And I don't even do yoga. I know yoga's a fine thing. I have
Yes.
other modalities. I jumped right to the fun yoga. And I was like, laughter yoga, what's that? And then that same week, I was at a networking event, hundreds of people. The very first woman I met was a laughter yoga teacher. I was like,
Whoa.
what?
Sign from the universe?
You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
And her club in Toronto, her club was 5-minute walk from my mother-in-law's.
Ooh.
And I love my mother-in-law. She has
Oh,
since
that's nice.
passed, but wow. And so we started going to her laughter club. It was our date night once a month. It was so
Aw.
beautiful. More like a hobby. We loved it, but
Okay.
it was that one day a month. And then her club closed. It was at a very busy spot in Toronto, condos. 20,000 people live at that one corner.
Oh my.
And she had to close her club because there wasn't enough interest. And I was like,
Oh
they
dear.
don't know. They just don't know
Kind of
this
like the
thing is
worms.
kind of like the word, right? Thank you. I know. It's like, why do these things
Right.
keep dropping in my lap that I'm not inventing? I'm not creating. They just are, but I'm finding them or they're finding me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I said, oh, no, I can't have this just die right now. I have to be trained. So I got trained as a laughter leader. And I love that so much. I got trained as a teacher. Now I teach leaders. And yeah, then I started getting paid gigs, going into long-term care. Like it really pays for itself. And especially now since 2020.
Wow. Okay. So how would you define laughter yoga?
Right. Okay. So laughter yoga started in 1995 by a medical doctor in India, Dr. Madan Kataria. And his goal is world peace. How beautiful.
Oh, lovely. Okay. I'm
Right?
all for that.
Oh, yes, please. We need more of that.
Yes, we do.
And I believe it was started in 95, so he could train people around the world. There's laughter clubs in over 120 countries.
Wow.
And we could get ready for 2020 when the world shut down.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Right before 2020, even Dr. Kateria believed that it needed to be done in person, like a lot of the things we were doing, right?
Yeah.
And then we all pivoted. We all jumped on all these online modalities. So beautiful.
Mm,
And laughter yoga translates wonderfully online. So it's not telling jokes or it's not jokes at all
okay.
because jokes are cultural to people. So it's little games to inspire the laughter. The yoga part of laughter yoga is the practice of the laughter and the deep diaphragmatic breathing. So
Oh.
yeah, yeah. So there's like clapping. So when you're clapping, we're clapping palm to palm. So we're activating meridians. We get energy just by clapping like this. And the rhythm is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And the words are ho ho, ha ha ha.
Huh. Okay.
Right? It's very simple.
Wow.
And we need to get out of our head and into our body. We need to feel, we need to experience the laughter and not think about it. Because if we're thinking about it, we're in our head. We're like, what are you doing? There's no jokes. What? There's no what's happening? What's stop it?
Right. So it's laughter in the form of body movement and breathing versus, a comedian telling jokes.
Correct.
Ah,
Yes.
interesting. Okay.
Yes. And it's
and
different.
right. And so the word yoga is used why?
Dr. Kateria's wife is a yoga teacher.
Oh, okay.
So they combine practices. So the laughter with the yoga. So there is like the deep breathing, there is gentle stretches, but it's
Mm,
not traditional. You're not doing downward dog or
okay.
child's pose or something and laughing.
So, what have you found the benefits are of doing this? And is this something you do daily, or what's the recommended frequency?
Yes, daily ideally. I have a laughter buddy who calls me every morning at 7:30. We laugh for 2 full-on minutes, belly laughs, 1 minute of deep breathing, followed by 2 more minutes of belly laughs. And it sounds very short, and it is. It's a 5-minute practice. What happens when we laugh? We're secreting all the love drugs, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and
Mm,
endorphins, and we're oxygenating our beautiful body. You don't have to think about breathe in, breathe out, because when you're laughing, you're exhaling, ha, ha, ha. So
mm.
you have to take a deep breath so you can continue ha-haing. It's a beautiful mechanism.
Wow. And so, what occurs to me is this idea we're forcing this laughter, even though there's not necessarily something that's triggering us to find something funny.
Yes.
And so, even though it's a forced laugh, it still has all of these benefits.
Absolutely. Our body doesn't
Huh.
know the difference between real and
Oh, that's
simulated
true.
laughter.
Same with
Body's like, pew, pew, pew. And our brain's like, hey, stop it. You look ridiculous. What are you
right,
doing?
right.
Right.
Why are
They're
you
typing
laughing? There's
off.
nothing funny.
There's nothing funny. What's going on? What are you doing? And the body's going, yes. The heart's going, yes. The lungs are expanding. All our cells are having a party.
Fascinating.
And our brain requires 25% more oxygen than the rest of our body as an operating principle. When we get stressed, like always, we're living in a perpetual state of stress.
Mm.
Blood lymph oxygen leaves our frontal lobe to go into our muscles so we can escape that stressful situation.
Hmm.
Ever lost your keys, Amy?
Oh, sure. Or
Right?
remember
No?
where I parked my car?
Right? And you're like, where are my keys? I gotta go. I got an appointment, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The longer you're flapping around, the less likely you are to find your keys, phone, glasses,
Absolutely.
right in that state. So you've experienced it. I hope my little words will squeak into your brain because our brain is literally deprived of oxygen. That's why we can't find them in that state. The more we
Interesting.
flap around, we're getting more stress.
Well, so
Go
just
ahead.
along that same line, when I am trying to recall something and it's not coming at that moment, I always say, I'm sure it will come to me.
Mm,
And that's where I then allow that relaxation, I guess, so that my brain can retrieve whatever that information is. And most of the time it works.
that's a great strategy,
Yeah.
right? That's, yes, you need to stop, take a deep breath in. Okay, it'll come to me. Where did I place
Mm.
them? Right?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what the laughter does. We laugh, ha, 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 and our brain gets oxygenated. Oxygen flows back up to our brain. So then
Mm,
we can come up with solutions. Back to the stress. We are living in this state of stress. And the
right.
more we are experiencing the world without taking time for a pause from news, from social media, from screens at all, okay, keep watching.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We keep on feeding the stress beast.
Right.
And we can't heal when we're in stress. And
Exactly.
it's becoming a habit. And the challenge is today that we've normalized this stressful state.
Hmm.
And we put it on as a badge of honor, like our to-do list. Oh, look at all the things I have to do. I got to do da-da. I exist on 5 hours of sleep. Perhaps
Mm,
you do, but really our body is designed to sleep. I know it's different amounts for different people, but
right.
you know, studies have shown that you really need that beautiful, deep sleep in a
Right.
dark room, quiet without your
Yes.
technology, all those
Yes.
things.
Well, and part of it is the brain needs to be flushed essentially when we're sleeping, right? It's a cleansing process that happens.
It
It's
is.
part of it anyway.
Yeah. And then, a lot of people, when they wake up, they open their eyes and they start going through their to-do list.
Gosh, yes. I've been guilty of that. And, the other one that I have to be very mindful of is, I live in this beautiful place where I take walks with the dogs every day. And instead of focusing on the next project that I'm working on or my to do list or what have you, I really have to stop myself to say, no, smell the pine needles that you're stepping
Mm.
across, or, look at all the birds that are flying around. Just all those sort of mindfulness techniques to be present in the moment instead of thinking about the next thing that has to be done. Well, I should be, or not should, but it's better for me to be outside enjoying nature fully instead of getting the exercise, breathing the oxygen, and then still being in my head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do the one thing.
Yeah.
We do try to multitask, and I do believe that ideas come to us. We're out in nature.
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of like for some people, taking a shower is a way that they can sort of decompress and just allow thoughts to come in. But for me, for sure, as I'm walking, ideas pop in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, without forcing. Yeah.
So, how would you say your life has changed since you've been practicing laughter yoga?
Oh, so many ways, so many ways. Oh my gosh. First of all, I think before 2020, I took it personal when people said earworms in the house. Like, this is my baby.
Oh, right.
I know it sounds so superficial, but I think on a certain level, it was like, oh, I don't know. They don't like what I'm offering or something.
Yeah. No, I totally
Laughter.
get that.
Yeah. So laughter gave me more resilience. Like, I realized, oh, that's theirs. It's not mine. So it freed me of that attachment
Yep.
that, trying to push it on everybody, I think. Like, I'm high energy, I'm animated, so it was probably fun to watch me, but there was still that line, like, no.
Not in my
Uh,
house.
yes, and it also affected my relationship with my husband. Like,
Oh,
before 2020, I was doing Skype laughter. It was for professionals, 20 minutes of laughter every day, just not video, it was just audio, just
huh.
practicing our craft. So I would be doing my emails just laughing, ha ha ha, no talking, just laughing. So
Okay.
practicing different laughs, different pitches,
Huh.
just laughing. And he would leave the room, so I joke and say that he was laughter hesitant for 10 years.
I
And
noticed
it's
that in your profile. I thought that was a great term. Very
like,
cute.
why does he leave the room? Like, it's
Right.
right? Why doesn't he just stay? It's an energy, it's a vibration. But if you're vibrating at a lower rate, it can be an affront, like the radio being off station, like
Yeah.
static or something, right? It's like,
Yeah.
that it doesn't feel good. And in November 2022, like that wasn't when he came to laughter, but in November 2022, we were walking in the forest and I had a training coming up the following week. I said, I have a training next week and I only have one student and they're paid. So I guess we're going ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
And he turned to me and he said, maybe I'll take the training.
Ooh,
What? Like, there was no talk
that's
of that. It was
interesting.
just kind of got into his body. It got into his DNA and I don't know what happened. So
Wow.
now Amy, it's so beautiful in my laughter club on Tuesdays, which I'll talk about in a sec.
Yes.
He co-leads with me.
Oh my gosh. So he went from being hesitant to now being a co-leader. That's pretty
Now,
impressive.
and he talks about being an introvert. Now with laughter, he talks
Oh.
about he's an introvert. He's quiet. He loves his by himself time.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. That's great. He has a creative side. So the laughter yoga has given him this creativity boost, right?
Wow.
His brain's fully oxygenated. So every week he comes up with this is his own doing. He comes up with a theme. He'll put in a Zoom background based on what the exercises he's going to be leading. So when
Oh,
the people arrive, they're always looking like, oh, what's Rick going to be doing today?
yeah.
Like, oh, it looks like we're going camping or
Oh,
whatever. Then he'll
fun.
do a whole theme around camping, like putting up your tent. Oh, it's raining. It's leaky tent laughter. Or, it's so
Oh,
creative. And I bring the healing modalities. So I do bring in like the tapping, brain gym, qigong,
oh, wow. Okay. I didn't realize you had all that background as well.
right? Yeah, I've got all these tools in my healing basket.
Yeah.
And so laughter is complementary medicine. It does go
Yes.
with all of
Yes.
those modalities.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful thing. So I bring all those because I truly want people to feel good.
Mm,
I think I said it before we were recording that I want people to care about the planet, as do you.
yes.
But when we're in a mental crisis, it's impossible. It's not possible because we don't even care about us.
That's right. That is a big,
So I really want people to care about the planet. So I need to help them get out of stress and into joy. It's our birthright. It is.
Well, and I also believe that that will shift the way we're treating each other. I mean, I'm sure
Mm.
you're aware, as many of us are, of the divisiveness and the horrific way that some people are treating others. And, I feel like if we can all get into our higher self, our best self, this might be one of the ways to get there. Yeah.
Really, like when we're laughing, we're totally present. We're not thinking about our to-do list or that
Yeah.
thing we said yesterday. Oh, that fight we had. We're right here, right now. We're not even thinking.
Yeah.
It's not even a great survival mechanism because when you're laughing full on, your knees get weak. So we can
Oh,
only laugh when
interesting.
we feel safe.
Wait, so what's happening when your knees get weak?
It's that we're fully present. We're just like, we're right here, right now,
Huh.
laughing, fully oxygenated, all the love drugs. So we're just completely present.
Wow. Huh. Never heard about the knee weakness thing. That's fascinating. So, what's the first step you think for people to move in this direction of using laughter this way? I think you have a free laughter club, did you call it?
I do. I have a free online club people can join from anywhere.
Okay.
It's Tuesday mornings, 9:30 a.m. Eastern,
Okay.
30 minutes of super fun self-care.
Okay.
I started June 2020, so it's
Oh, wow.
over
So you've
5
been doing this for a
years.
while.
Yeah, 5.5 years. I get around 20 to 30 Zoom squares,
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
right? Consistent
Yeah.
now for,
Yeah.
oh gosh, over a year now. And it's people from around the world. Like I have my core group of people,
Sure.
but then there's people that pop in, pop out, like come when they can. But
Huh.
we know if it's not in the calendar, something else will fill that's what
Yeah,
happens.
that's true.
I would say make laughter your practice. And if laughter is too hard to start by smiling. When we
Ah,
smile, it sends a note to our brain, right? It's not our brain thinking our way out of to
yes.
feeling it. So we smile and then pew, we start secreting the love drugs. It's those muscles and a note gets sent to the brain. Hey, you're smiling. You must be happy.
Yeah.
Same with another simple thing to do is when we breathe in through the nose
Right.
and then exhale with a sigh. Ah. And that's an auditory sign to our brain. Hey, I must be happy. I must be relaxed. I'm sighing. We're never
Interesting.
frantically running for the bus, sighing.
Right.
We're never flopping around looking for our keys going, ah,
Yeah.
right? So these simple things that we can do to start training our mind to be
Mhm.
happy instead of doing that, where we're in the stress rut. Let's
Right.
get in the joy groove.
Yeah, I've actually heard that humming is a very beneficial thing to do as well.
Humming as well. Yes, I hum every night. Talking about
Oh,
humming.
really?
When I go to bed, can I just talk about the spoon?
Please.
So I usually have a magnet, but the magnet has nothing to do with it. If a magnet sticks to your spoon, it means it's
Yes.
stainless steel.
Ah,
That's what
as
you want.
opposed to aluminum?
Aluminum or, your fancy sterling.
Oh, gotcha. Right, right,
Right,
right.
right. So just your everyday stainless steel. So what I do when I've done my hygiene, I'm in bed, I have a spoon on my headboard. It just stays
Okay.
there. It's never in the soup bowl. And I spoon my feet. So imagine this is my foot.
Oh.
The metal in the spoon attracts the iron in your blood and it corrects your polarities. So people
Ooh.
might yawn. Sometimes when I spoon my feet, I start yawning, which means you're in parasympathetic. You're in rest and
Ooh, this is
digest.
something new I've never heard before. Okay.
Oh, spoon your feet. When we're out in the world, sometimes our polarities get spun. So usually it's
Absolutely.
north and south.
Mhm.
Imagine this, your feet.
And you're not
Uh,
putting a lot of pressure, it looks like. You're
I'm
just
not.
kind of sort
Yeah,
of swiping.
that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not the pressure,
And
it's
just
the
for
contact.
a few seconds?
I usually do figure eights, in fact, but I'll do like 8 or 10 of them. It
Okay.
doesn't matter. But couple of seconds,
Wow, and
and
so
then
what is that doing?
that's correcting the polarities.
So
So
is
that
that
helps ground
similar
you.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, so is that similar to grounding, like going out barefoot and standing on the earth?
Absolutely it is. Yes, absolutely.
Fascinating.
Right?
Okay.
Yay. So
Cool.
grounding, and then back to the humming. One hand on heart, one hand on belly,
Yeah.
and then I do 3 hums. So I'll breathe in and hum it out. Hum, and you can feel the resonance in your body. This is
Mm.
the original instrument. And when I'm really present, I can feel it all the way down to my toes.
Oh, wow.
And it's magic. It's really a beautiful, simple process.
How cool. All right. So if people want to join your laughter club, how do they find you?
Yeah, so my laughter page is cathysclub.com, Cathy with a C,
Okay.
and it says right at the top, free online laughter club. And
Perfect.
so
And
you
I'll put
just
that in the
register.
show notes too.
Yeah, beautiful.
And
Just register and get the link.
beautiful. Okay. So one last question for you. What is something that I did not ask you that you wish I had?
Mm. Maybe about corporations, like are
Oh, okay.
corporations using laughter? And
So
yes, they
they,
are.
okay.
So corporations are using laughter for team building, to increase productivity, reduce absenteeism because people are less stressed. What happens when we laugh together as a group? It takes away the titles. The president and the
Oh,
person
right.
in the factory, everybody's on the same level when we're laughing.
Yeah.
We're just laughing. That's it, having a good time. So it connects us on a very deep level. We don't even know what's happening. It oxygenates our body. So creativity is increased, right? When
Mm,
we're stressed, it's harder to come up with solutions. So
yes.
we're creative. We can come up with better ideas for marketing, for selling, and we connect. So then we want to help each other on our team. My goal is to train large corporations
Mhm.
so they can have a laughter leader in each department. So they start the day with a little 5-minute laughter practice, a
Wow.
few little games. Ha ha ha. All right, guys, let's go have a great day.
Wow. That sounds fantastic. This has been fascinating, Cathy. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Well, I think everyone's got to join your club, and all that information will be in the show notes below. You've been listening to the Green Living Now podcast, where the elegant rebellion comes to life in real conversations, real homes, with helpful tips and real choices. If this conversation lit something up in you, please subscribe so that you don't miss the next ones. And share it with another woman who's ready to take back her power and stop outsourcing her health, her food, and her home to toxic systems. That's how the movement spreads, one awakened choice at a time. And if you're ready to live this work alongside with others and me, join our Elegant Rebellion Circle. You'll find the details at greenlivingnow.com. I'll see you next week. And until then, keep noticing, keep choosing, and keep rising.